Good afternoon. For England today, a European Championship Group 7 match with Turkey in Izmir. A match that England should win and win well, but there's a new look to this side of Graham Taylor's and a great deal of interest in what happens over the next 90 minutes or so. So live coverage coming up, but the look of Group 7 has changed during the course of the afternoon, with the Republic of Ireland held to a goalless draw by Poland in Dublin. Disappointing for Jack Charlton, good for England though, and if they get the right result in Izmir, they'll take over at the top of that group today. Well, that England team, new caps for Dennis Wise and Jeff Thomas, Alan Smith up front with Gary Lineker, and Gary Pallister in for Mark Wright, who's got a thigh strain, Lee Sharp out with a calf strain. But an interesting lineup, and Jimmy Hill is with us. What do you make of it?
Well, we've been talking really, and the press are reacting as if the recent England performances have been first class. They've been good defensively, but in an attacking sense, the number of shots and chances coming off the production line has been few and far between. So we have not done as well as we might have done, and obviously the changes are made, bringing in Alan Smith with an idea of creating more chances. What people think is that if you pick the 11 prettiest players in England, that you'll have a good football team. It doesn't happen like that. Graham Taylor knows that a good football team is made up of the right component parts. And apart from injuries, I mean, I'm sure Gazza would have been in the side if he'd been fit and one or two others. But in the circumstances, he has backed his belief. He's a brave man. And he thinks, well, if I'm going to be slaughtered, I might just as well be slaughtered for my own beliefs as somebody else's. As you and I well know, that tomorrow it'll be come back Robson, all is forgiven, if this experimental team doesn't work.
But what's your feeling? Are you confident that this is a side that can create chances and score goals? Because this is also a great opportunity to lift the goal difference as well.
I'm confident in his judgment. He knows more about those players than you and I, and he knows what he's after. Alan Smith, I think, has earned his place on merit, and as a receiver of the ball, and also as someone who can score goals and is in form. So I don't see that anything wrong in what he's done at the moment, just because he's picked a player, Dennis Wise, who supposedly is out of form, and it wasn't one the press had in mind. But we shall see. Okay, he's a brave man.
We'll have an interim verdict at half-time, but things are about to happen now in Izmir, and we'll go out there and join our commentary team of Trevor Brooking and Barry Davis.
Welcome to the third largest town in Turkey on a warm evening after a mainly cloudy day which had a little rain in the morning. The two captains at the toss-up were the officials from West Germany, the referee Wolfgang Günther Weisel, Gary Lineker on the left, and Kalimbe Reza of Besiktas, the captain of Turkey, on the right. He's one of 5 players in the side who come from that club, a club incidentally managed by the former England midfield player, Gordon Milne. The pitch is well grassed, although a little bumpy, and not as good as the pitch that the under-21 side played on yesterday. That's the Turkish lineup. He's made 5 changes. Sepp Piontek, former manager of the Danish national side. You remember back in '84, it was he who denied Bobby Robson's team a place in the European Championship finals. Confirmation of the English side, 2 new caps, means that Graham Taylor has so far used 27 players and awarded 4 new caps during his reign as the England manager. And I would think it's a fairly proud afternoon for Crewe Alexandria. 2 of their former players, Jeff Thomas and David Platt, having moved on to be members of the England midfield. The crowd is fairly small and basked in sunshine on the far side. There's the England duo, the England manager on the left, and the assistant to the manager, Laurie McMenemy, and down through the coaching staff and the physiotherapist to the doctor. England playing in blue, sky blue strip, attacking the goal to our right against the side that they've now played, be playing for the 5th occasion, and the previous 4 matches England have scored 21 goals and not conceded any. But there was that game here in Izmir in a European Championship qualifier when the result was 0-0. Apart from that, there have been 2 8s and 1 5. Lee Dixon, one of 3 Arsenal players in the side. Here's another. Smith, first touch for Dennis Wise. Trying to find Lineker. Gary Pallister gets his chance because of the injury Right. The seaman taking no chances. Dilma Ridvan suggesting a little bit of pace. Just been recalled to the side of Ridvan after 2 years out. Had a lot of problems with knee injuries. And his club sent him to the United States for an operation. Here's Wise from fairly deep. Thomas. Rather took it away from him, but a typical piece of batting to get it back and at least force the error from the defender. Match being played in the Ataturk Stadium, named after Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the first president of this country. He got rid of the Greeks from Izmir, took over as president in 1923. First chance for a cross from Wise. And his standing foot let him down. Chance for Dixon to try a long one. Pallister coming up to the near edge of the 6-yard area, which means that Smith pulls out from there. Barnes on the far side. Lineker between the two. Made a busy start. This is Barnes. Has to be a free kick. That's Seth Piontek. Completed 1 year of a 4-year contract in charge of the Turkish side. Which we thought when we looked at it beforehand was a little short. This is certainly well within range of Stuart Pearce. Maybe touched by Barnes. No, the first time shot. Which flies over the crossbar. Enables me to bring in for the first time Trevor Brooking.
Well, this sort of game, from England's point of view, is one of those where you're expected to win. And of course, I think it's important these first 10 or 15 minutes. You see the free kick here, a long way out. It was never low enough to trouble the Turkish goalkeeper. But these sort of games, you mustn't let a side like Turkey get the initiative or get a bit of an encouragement. And England has started quite promisingly, quite competitively, denying the Turkish side any space. And that's what they've got to do, take an early grip on the game, try and get ahead, and then build from there, of course.
Certainly Wise is hugging the right touchline at the start. This is Des Walker. Lineker down the left side, being followed all the time by Regep. Walker, too long. Released back by Gürkan. Is he number 4? Made 5 changes from the team that were beaten in Poland in a rather poor game in which Turks did have the chances before the Poles scored 3 times. 2 of them from clear errors. That's a snap shot by Stuart Pearce. Caused the goalkeeper to look up a little bit, but no more than that. Goalkeeper making his debut, Demirbaş Hayrettin from Galatasaray. Pearce was quickly there, couldn't really direct it. Basically playing 2 up, the Turks. A little bit more adventurous than in the away match in Warsaw. Not to be won by Pallister. Barnes, space on the right side, Wise on the touchline. Stretched by Unal. Crowd enjoyed the challenge. And Walker having to recover with the line a bit square at the moment that he did. Nobody else would have held up the Turks.
As you say, the Turkish side, they play with Ridvan and Tanju up front, and then they have people breaking from midfield. And I think it'd be important for Lee Dixon and Stuart Pearce to push forward to help the English midfield players, because the under-21s did struggle in that area where they were outnumbered on occasion.
Black trying to find Lineker. hope for the free kick, which he doesn't get. Played in the 0-0 draw here in Izmir back in April '87, and was kicked all over the place, and the referee seemed to be oblivious to his problems. Finally booked his marker with about 10 minutes to go, which was really neither here nor there. Stuart Pearce. Lineker runs slightly off his toe. Tanju. And again Tanju. Rizvan. Tanju still waiting in the middle. Bounds back to defend. Turkish ball. He's going to take the throw. Important challenge that by Wise. Unal was hopeful. Saddles and Dennis Wise. He made a fair start. Certainly one of the more surprising selections. A rather in-and-out season with Chelsea after his big money transfer from Wimbledon. Plus 1.6 million. Very popular at the beginning, but then the crowd more recently have been rather getting at him. Now with the throw. For that time staying well off Pallister. Dixon. Lineker right side. Riggett with him. Wise. He got slightly caught in two minds then, Dennis Wise. I think it was a moment when he thought about the shot. And then maybe the thought went through his mind, Trevor, I've been brought into the side to cross the ball, and he ended up crossing too long.
Good crossing opportunity. As you see, Gary Lineker hustles the defender into the mistake, controls it very well, and Alan Smith drifts towards the far post, and he's got clear of his marker, and a good cross, and that is what Dennis Wise has been put out there for, to put the ball over towards the far post, pick out Alan Smith, because Graham Taylor does feel that the Turkish defence are vulnerable on crosses, as they showed on one or two occasions against the Polish team.
Turks have already played the Poles twice, have beaten at home 1-0 and away 3-0. So Poland, in terms of goal difference, which might count for quite a lot in this Group 7, have only managed 4 goals against the side considered the weakest. Charlton's team scored 5 in Dublin. Still have to play here. They play their last match here when England are in Poland. 4 in the area. Came off the head of Thomas, won by Pallister, cleared by Pearce. On the deck. One who likes to stand, Sepp Piontek. Graham Taylor, as we saw earlier, seated. A little unnecessary, but it slightly changed the angle. Gurkan with the through ball, attempted. Barnes coming inside. Lineker and Smith forward. Lineker on the left side. This is he. Dropped back about 15 yards to collect. By Smith looking for Barnes. Alan Smith starting a match for only the second time. Total caps is 5, but the others were substitute appearances. Tanju. We're now waiting on the left side. Black will hold that. No, he didn't. He almost focused on the camera rather than the camera on him. This is Unal. Unal winning his 19th cap and brought into the side. Sepp Piontek impressed with Abdullah, who played against the Poles, but that was his first cap, and he felt that Abdullah didn't have the required experience for this fixture. Graham Taylor very much more the gambler. Good challenge by Pearce, but at the expense of the court. Sanju, the only player in a threatening position at the moment. Now Ali takes a place ahead of him. And the Ridvan is up as well. And the full stretch was David Seaman with the fingertips. Covered by Jeff Thomas. David Seaman being applauded by the Arsenal fullback Lee Dixon for that save. Certainly fingertip stuff. Nicely worked. Nobody coming in on the far side and pushed away and fortunately landed comfortably. And from the corner, Seaman makes an easy catch.
Second quarter was a bad one. The first one, I mean, the Turkish side all round aren't very tall, and they decided to take it initially short. And I would think that would be the better bet, because I'd be very disappointed looking at the variation in height if the English defence was called out and gave the Turkish forwards a free header. So the short corner might be their better bet.
Smith timed his jump slightly the better. Dixon, it's long, and it's a bit too long. The intention is there. Header Smith was being aimed for. It should be said, the cross from well in the last third of the field. The goalkeeper not looking entirely happy as to precisely where he was in his area. Pallister got beaten by Sanju. And then the free kick given for some holding by Walker on Ridvan. Sanju got up very well because he's several inches shorter than Gary Pallister.
Just a mistimed jump, wasn't it? Gary Pallister went up early and was on his way down, and Sanju timed it better and just got a vital flicker.
All about timing, is it not?
Don't ask me about heading.
I remember you scoring a goal with your head. First time in a cup final. Here in the European Championship in Izmir. Been playing a little over 14 minutes. The shot by Olgun comes to be blocked. No score. It's well taken by Unal. Shot rather earlier than he needed to. The precious little part. Really is a major bonus for England and Graham Taylor. The result in Dublin, I haven't already heard it, the Irish were held scoreless, 0-0 draw by Poland. And that gives England a chance of going to the top of the group. And a chance to do something about the goal difference too. Wise's cross. And Barnes with the shot. We're again looking a little static and peering.
It's a much better cross from Dennis Wise. As soon as he got it, drove it in that time rather than hang it up. And I think crosses on with pace. Graham Taylor, as you can see, turns in one movement and then drives it across towards the far post, clears everyone. And John Burns decided to hit it early and just pulling it across the goal. But that sort of cross at speed gives the defence, any defence, because the Turkish defence, less time to adjust and get back into position.
Dixon. Wise, certainly seeing a lot of the ball. David Platt. All back bar 2, now 3. Barnes. Ricochet. A little unkind to England. Linesman doesn't seem to be quite sure, but the referee's given the goal kick.
Well, it was a bit unlucky there because just Thomas it was who just flicked it on with his head, David Platt crossing, and just rebounded. As you can see, David Platt clips it in. Just Thomas touches it on. As John Barnes looks to be, might have got it under control. The defender could easily have fallen better for the two England forwards, just lurking.
Gary Lineker, as ever, nearer of those two. Shadow beginning to go across the ground. It's fairly warm out there. The players will be quite pleased, the England players anyway, when the sun dips down. Time in Turkey, 2 hours ahead of British summertime. This is Wise, but that could not be said of his cross. Banged it. I suspect the die is closed.
Great through ball by David Platt to set up the opening.
Mehmet. The evidence of the Polish match, Mehmet, the most gifted of the players in midfield for his country. Little fellow wearing number 9. Smith to chase, but Ogun, plenty of time. Still the same 2 up. Tanju and Ridvan. Both over the left side. 3 of them pushing forward from the centre circle, and Unal staying back. And basically only 3 out-and-out defenders, obviously when the possession is with the Turks. Front 2, followed by Recep, number 5. Goon is marking Alan Smith, and Gökhan, the spare defender, between them. Here's Smith. Barnes. Corner given.
Balances it out because I thought the tackle rebounded off Jeff Thomas, but we won't argue the point.
Bannister once more has come up by the near post. Barnes is a little bit shorter than that, and the goalkeeper rather palmed it down, but certainly came for it. Walker, nice touch. Dixon saw his chance, committed the sweeper, just played it a bit too long. The idea was good. And now they're trying to use the space that he's left. Walker coming on Ridvan. And Gary Lineker gets back to make the challenge. He's got to do it again. It's come again to Ridvan. And it's blocked. And Lineker finally gets it away. And England in a bit of a state then. And it really all came from the attempt to get forward by Lee Dixon. But by playing the ball too far forward, he left the gap behind. Seaman will be very happy to have that in his hands, and so will the management and the rest of the England team.
There's Walker and Gary Lineker just collided there, and it was David Platt who got the vital toe-ender. Quite an impressive dive forward looking for the penalty, but no way was it. But as you say, great ball out defence by the Turkish sweeper Gökhan, rather than just whacking it clear, set it back into the space where Lee Dixon had got caught out, and they broke very effectively, and as you say, a fortunate escape.
20 minutes gone. No score, and at this stage, England will be quite happy about that. Dixon to take the free kick. Wines has gone ahead on the right, and they're just into the edge of the area now. All the other players are on the left side. Best of free kicks. It was right across the face of everybody. Pierce. Alistair. Looks quite happy to let him bring it 10 or 15 yards. Now Ali goes to Pierce. Flat. Pierce. Flat. Barnes further ahead down that touchline. And he and Pierce slightly in each other's way, but they make it work. Sort of challenge by Gurkan. Quite a composed player, Gurkan. Playing behind two different defenders from the last match. Smith. Barnes. Gurkan calmly away. Walker. That turned his back on it and has come forward 4 against 4 for a moment, 4 against 3 indeed. Man in possession is Ridvan. Really should have used it much more quickly. There was a moment then when he could have played it square and England would have been in trouble. David Platt absolutely turned his back on the ball and made the forward run. And it's across and is well claimed.
David Seaman made 2 or 3 good catches and good palms away, which will do him a world of good. On this occasion, this sort of quick throw-in, hooked on, as I say, good goalkeeping, holding on to it.
Ali for Turkey. Ball back. It was a little worse than it was, but certainly a free kick, which is quickly taken. Wayward forward ball. Ridvan. His pace has caused England a few problems, and they're certainly getting more forward from midfield than in the away fixture. Away fixture, the last match in Warsaw. Smith coming a bit deeper to collect. Flat. Wise inside him. And Dixon taken out by that pass. Mehmet. A bit too long. Gurkan. Knows where the ball should have gone in the first place. Riza. Ali on the run. Pierce. Barnes ahead. Smith. Barnes. There's a gap down the middle for Barnes if he takes on the sweep, and he does. A real chance for John Barnes. Doesn't finish what he started. He wants the corner, he's not going to get it. But it was a very, very good break, and he'll be disappointed not to have got it on target after making use of the room that opened up in front of him.
Superb layoff by Alan Smith, and selfish, and there John Barnes' typical Liverpool run, wasn't it? And I think he went for the shot. I would have said perhaps a square ball to both players running in might have been the safer bet, but if it had ended up in the back of the net, would have all said what a magnificent individual goal it was. But on reflection, the square one always is the better option.
Well, certainly Barnes thought that the goalkeeper got a bit of a touch to it. It may well be from the replay that he was right. It would have been lovely had he buried it. Nobody in particular. Nowhere near the header on that.